Hi, Elaine here from Marker Geek. Today I've put my markers down and picked up my coloured pencils. Those of you who read my blog or newsletter or social media posts will already be aware that one of my plans for this year is to do more work with coloured pencils. Markers are my main love because I can work with them relatively quickly and get good results. But I love coloured pencils and always have. It just takes a little bit longer to achieve similar results, and so it's easier to reach for the markers more often. In addition to doing more work with coloured pencils, I also want to spend a little bit more time sharing some alternative products for different budgets. So I have a large collection of coloured pencils of varying prices, varying qualities. And while it's always lovely to work with my favourites, they do tend to be more expensive. And I'm aware that not everyone wants to blow the budget on coloured pencils, especially when you're card making or you don't do a massive amount of colouring, or you're not that confident that you would enjoy coloured pencils as a medium. So I wanted to spend a little bit more time this year with markers as well, but at the moment with coloured pencils, showing you that you can achieve great results and enjoy colouring whatever your budget. There are options out there for everyone, which brings me to today's video. As you can see, I'm using coloured pencils. I'm using a set of coloured pencils from Arteza. Or Arteza, I've heard it pronounced both ways. I'm not sure which is the correct one. I'm going to go with Arteza. They are a relatively new brand, but are becoming increasingly popular, and I'm sure many of you have heard of them. One of the newer products in their range are the Expert coloured pencils. I picked up the 120 pencil set in their post-Christmas sale, and I've been trying them out. And I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised. I wasn't expecting much. I think they cost me about £45 here in the UK in their sale. They usually retail for somewhere between £50 and £60. I think the list price is £68.99, but they tend to always have discounts. I think the current price on their website is somewhere around £54. For 120 pencils, that claim to be of artist quality, that is an amazing price, whether you pay the sale price or the full price. It works out at the price I paid, for less than 40p per pencil, which is incredible. So having played with them for a little while now, I am very happy with them. There are a few issues, and I have been in contact with Arteza about those. The main one being that they claim to be break resistant. However, I did have some issues with the set that I received breaking when I was sharpening them straight out of the box. Not all of the pencils, a select, maybe about 15, maybe a dozen of the pencils, I had great difficulty in sharpening and them not breaking. So I contacted Arteza, and this is where I was hugely impressed. They do stand by their product, and they were very helpful. Their customer service was really easy to deal with, which is great. And they sent me a replacement set. Unfortunately, I have found that there are some breakage issues with some of the same pencils that I was having issues with in the first set. I have fed that back to Arteza, and they said that as it's a fairly new product, they are taking feedback, and this is hopefully something they can maybe work on. My feeling is that it could be to do with how they ship the pencils. I received them in their tin in just a cardboard box, no sort of bubble wrap or protective cushioning in the box. And as these are a wax-based pencil that are fairly similar to Prismacolor pencils, it probably isn't entirely surprising that there are some breakages if they've experienced maybe some knocks in transit. Overall, the pencils do sharpen well, aside from those that I experienced the breakages with. They maintain a nice sharp point. As I mentioned, they are a wax-based core, and they are fairly similar to Prismacolor. I would say that in terms of softness, they fall somewhere between Prismacolor and Polychromos, tending to be more towards the Prismacolor end. But they are firmer than Prismacolor, which is nice, because I have discovered over the years that for me, I tend to prefer working with a firmer pencil. And I'll come on to that in a different video, different blog post when I talk about some different brands. But yeah, I enjoyed working with these more than I enjoy working with Prismacolor pencils. And to be honest, the breakages aren't completely unlike the experience that I have had in the past with Prismacolor pencils. I'm using the pencils in this video to work on a Stamping Bella stamped image. All the details for the stamp I'm using, links, affiliate links for the pencils, etc. if you would like to support me by using affiliate links, are in the description below, and also over on my blog post where there will be some more information. I do realise that it is, while I was trying to show the colours that I was using by holding the pencils up to the camera, unfortunately because the writing on the barrels is quite reflective, that can be quite difficult to read. So I will be providing a list of the pencils used over on my blog post, which, as I said, will be linked in the description below along with everything else. I really selected this particular image to work with as I'd already been working with it for my Copic marker video last week. Also, it was a really nice one to work on trying out some skin tones without getting into all of the fiddly details of, say, a face or a full character. And they worked really nicely. I found some really nice colours for skin tones, and the selection of colours in the 120 pencil set is great. You get a really nice variety. I might like to see a few extra sort of paler tones, but overall there is a really nice selection. The paper I'm working on is Strathmore toned tan paper, which I really enjoy using with coloured pencils. The pencils I found blended really nicely and layered really well. I was really surprised by how well they behaved considering the price. As you can see, I was able to get quite a few layers in, and I probably could even have layered a little bit more. I used my favourite method, my preferred method, just the pencils themselves rather than any blending solution to blend the colours. And yeah, I found the pencils really nicely pigmented. Prismacolor are probably a bit more opaque and more heavily pigmented, but these are really nice, again, especially for the price. And they do feel like a much more expensive pencil because they are quite solid and they've got the dipped ends, so you don't see the core at the end of the pencil. And the printing is in a nice silver leaf, although, as I mentioned, that can be a bit of a problem in videos and under certain lighting conditions because it's quite reflective. But they look really nice and they feel really nice. I would say they feel more premium than Prismacolor pencils do. They feel more like the Polychromos and they look more like them, which is really nice. It doesn't have a lot to do with how well they perform, but it is quite nice. The tin that they come in is a little disappointing, probably not too surprising though given the price. They do claim on their website that it is a nice travel case and that it's durable. I would dispute that. The tin itself is fine. The trays that the pencils are arranged in, the little plastic trays, are quite flimsy though, and I really wouldn't want to be constantly getting the little trays in and out of the tin. I can see them bending and breaking quite easily, and pencils going everywhere. So I have taken mine out and put them into my preferred pencil storage, which I will over the course of the next few weeks be talking about over on my blog. The pencils do come with Lightfast ratings. However, I'm not entirely convinced about these. I'm not entirely sure how much I trust them. So if Lightfastness is a concern for you, I would probably recommend that you do some research, maybe get in touch with Arteza or opt for one of the more expensive brands. I've read a few things online that suggest maybe they're basing the Lightfastness ratings on the pigments themselves rather than the finished product. I don't know how true this is. I haven't done a lot of research because this doesn't hugely concern me. If you're a card maker, it probably doesn't hugely concern you, but it is something to be aware of. They are selling these with Lightfastness ratings that really for the price are quite surprising. So I would just take those with a pinch of salt and maybe do your own research just to satisfy yourself that those meet any requirements you have. You can probably see as you're watching me colour that I am sweeping away some dust, some pencil dust from time to time. I did find that these are more crumbly than some of my favourite pencils, like the Polychromos. You do get a lot more dust from them. It's not a huge problem. I use a large soft brush from Tonic Studios just to sweep it away rather than wiping it away with my hand, which would tend to maybe smudge the pigment on my paper, or blowing it away. It wasn't a huge problem, but maybe something to be aware of. So yeah, overall, I would tend to recommend these if they fall more within your budget range. I think in the US, I know a lot of you watching are probably from the US. The price tends to range from the discounted sort of $65 up to the list price of about $80 for the 120 set. The main problem with these pencils for me would be that they aren't available open stock, which isn't surprising given the price point. But it is disappointing, especially when you do have some of the breakage issues, or you tend to use certain colours more often than others. Say the skin tones, I would need to replace probably more frequently than anything else. But then again, given the price, it's not really a huge deal. I think they're available in a few different sizes of sets. There is a 48 set, a 72 set, and the 120 set, which is the one that I bought because I have full set-itis. Given how well the pencils blend and layer, and how happy I was with their performance, breakage issues aside, I would absolutely buy these again. And I will be continuing to use them, so you will be seeing them pop up in videos and on my blog. I'm also hoping to create some specific pages on my blog that gather together some information, some basic information on different brands. So look out for that. And because of my customer service experience with Arteza, I feel confident in saying to you that I recommend that these are a good option if they fall within your budget. They are a great pencil, and Arteza's customer support was excellent. So if you do experience any problems with these or any of their products, it seems like they will stand by the products and support them, which is great to know. And I will just point out for the record that I have not been asked by Arteza to create this video. I was not supplied with any of the product for the video. I purchased it myself, so all of these opinions are absolutely my own. And hopefully this video has given you a good look at the pencils and given you some decent information about them and about how I felt about using them. Hopefully you found it helpful. I will say that I did find these pencils easier to work with on the areas like this bow that I'm colouring right now in comparison to Prismacolors. I often find I find that I don't reach for Prismacolors that often because I don't enjoy working with them in tight spaces because of the softness. They tend to be a lot softer and smudgier, and I find that difficult when I'm trying to get detail in areas like this bow. So these really had the softness, but also a level of firmness that enabled me to fairly easily get some of the finer details in, which was really nice. As I said before, I will be doing more work with coloured pencils in general, and I will be specifically doing lots of coloured pencil work with some of these cheaper brands. I will definitely be doing some more Arteza coloured pencil videos and posts. I am also currently about to start working on providing some more interesting and different content on my social media channels. So if you haven't followed me over on Instagram and you have an Instagram account, do check me out over there and give me a follow, and watch out for some Instagram only videos that hopefully will be coming soon. Please do also check out my blog, where I'll be adding some additional content, some additional pages specifically for market information, for coloured pencil information, to get a lot of that really basic information out there for all of you. And also, while you're over there, or in the description box below where you'll find all of the useful links, I will have the link to my newsletter where I send out a weekly roundup of all of my posts and videos, in case you missed anything. But also I am looking at ways to provide some extra content via my newsletter this year. So if you want to watch out for that, then head over to the blog and subscribe to the newsletter, and then you won't miss out on anything. And the specific blog post related to today's video is linked in the description below. It will take you straight there, and you will find any links and information like the colour list for this particular colouring. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you next time.